Alright, what's going on, everyone? Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, how the heck are you doing? I hope I find everyone well. I hope everyone's happy, healthy, living life to the fullest as always. It's been a little bit since I last uploaded. It's been like a week and a half. I usually try to at least upload once a week, but I've been having some really grimy weather, and while I do ride in grimy weather, I don't want to put my very expensive GoPro in harm's way with the rain. So yeah, but I want to make a video that I've been kind of sitting on for a little bit, and honestly I feel like a lot of people could probably use at least something from this, and that is just discipline, right? Talking about discipline and the importance of it and just how much it can actually do for you, right? Oh, it feels so good outside. But anywho, back to what I was saying. Discipline, man. Discipline is something that honestly is probably a game changer for a lot of people. If a lot of people could find the discipline within themselves and within their strategy, then you could probably end up seeing profits there. I think that's a big contributor to why I've seen at least success in my short time of trading. While it's not some monumental generational wealth success, it's still success. It's more than quite a lot of traders out there, and I feel like my discipline is something that I take pride in when it comes to trading. I'm still human, obviously, and I do get undisciplined at times. It happens, sometimes you just have a bad day, mental fog gets in the way, things like that. I'm normal. I'm a human. I'm not emotionless, and sometimes that gets in the way. But I feel like a lot of people end up letting that get in the way more often than not, like a lot of the time, right? And that's what leads a lot of people to blowing accounts, to not being able to get the payouts, getting close, but then all of a sudden magically things just go against you, and you wonder why, and it's probably just discipline. I mean, the reason why I say discipline is so important rather than a strategy being the most important, or at least in my mind, is just I feel like anybody can find a strategy and learn how it works, right? Like anybody can sit there, look up a video on supply and demand, figure out how supply and demand works. Anybody can look up a video on ICT, figure out how ICT works. Anybody can sit here and look up a strategy for order flow, for trading inverse fair value gaps, things like that. Anybody can figure out how those things work. It's not rocket science at the end of the day, right? But even if you learn these things, it's not what's going to make you profitable. It's not what's going to give you the success that you want, right? What really matters is how do you use that information? How do you deal with that information, right? How do you deal with the probabilities of things? And if you don't have the discipline to stick to, certain sets of rules and stuff like that, then, I mean, things just aren't going to go your way. It's going to suck, What the heck is that thing? It's a nice Alpenstar jacket, though. I'll give them that. I don't know I think it's like an e-bike. But yeah, if you don't have the discipline to stick to, your rules, to stick to the confines of the strategy, to stick to the entry model, then it's going to get you nowhere, right? To me, discipline is the most important thing when it comes to trading. Discipline and just your overall mentality, right? Like if you take a loss, right? If you take a loss, and then you just sit there and think, oh, well, this strategy sucks because I just took a loss. I'm not going to use it anymore. I'm going to find something new because this just isn't working. Well, you didn't use the strategy to its full potential. You didn't stay disciplined. You didn't get the discipline part of the strategy. You just got the strategy down and that was it. Like, no way back. I'll just go. So, let's say you got a 60% win rate, right? 40% of those are going to be losses out of, let's say 100 trades, right? 40 of those trades are going to be losses. And if you can't sit there and take a loss and then take another loss and deal, with the fact that my strategy, you can't remain disciplined and know that my strategy is going to work itself out over time. If I just stick to what I know, if I stick to what I've worked out, to the plan I have devised, things are going to work out. If you don't have the discipline for that, then, I mean, you know, you're going to end up over trading. You're going to end up taking dumb trades. You're going to end up getting too antsy, too anxious, just so many different things that you'll... Why are you stopping so early, big dog? Holy. But yeah, you're going to end up just in a bad spot, man. You're not going to end up in a good area with any of that. You're not going to end up making profits. Like one of my buddies that I'm teaching to trade, right? He kind of showed me just kind of proof of the fact that you need discipline. You know, I kind of gave him my strategy and just what I do and, you know, things like that. But, you know, it doesn't work the same for him, because for him, you know, he doesn't have the discipline built up. He doesn't have the understanding of how it works. So for him, he just takes losses a lot of the time. You know, he'll take wins, but he doesn't know what to do once he gets a win. To him, you know, he's got to keep going and keep trading and make more money because he's just up off a win. But, you know, that's not discipline. That's not telling yourself, okay, I'm up off of a win. That's what my strategy says that I can get. Let me just go ahead and take that, call it a day, and come on into the next day and see what the next day brings. Rather than just, you know, over trading, continuing to trade when you really have no business continuing to trade. Or like he'll take a loss, right? And in that, after that loss, he'll just end up taking more trades because he wants to try to win that back. And it doesn't matter the strategy that he has. It doesn't matter any of that. None of that matters, because he doesn't have the mental fortitude and the discipline to tell himself no. Tell himself, I'm going to stop after this win. I'm going to stop after this loss. You know, if you don't have any of that, you're going to end up in the red every time. You're going to have a lot of red days. You're going to have a lot of really crappy days, and you're going to think that trading doesn't work, and you're going to hate it. And then it's just going to devolve into this thing where you just feel like you're doing everything wrong, when in reality the only actual thing that you're doing wrong is battling with yourself over something quite simple, and that's just telling yourself no. And I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, I know telling yourself no, it's not an easy thing. Having discipline with yourself is disgustingly hard. It's so hard. You know, I battled with the same things whenever I first started. I've gotten a lot better at it now. I'm much more better at it than I was, you know, when I started, you know, 9-10 months ago. And I mean, nobody's perfect, you know. You're still human. You're gonna have emotions. You're still gonna, you know, at the end of the day, you still want to make money, you know. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people just they don't train themselves to have discipline. They don't train themselves to, you know, fully trust in their strategy. Things that I do to help build, you know, that discipline is backtest a bunch. I backtest a lot. I will continually, like, during the nights, whenever I'm sitting at home on my computer, you know, sometimes I will just avoid playing games and just sit there and backtest, chill in Discord with some friends, and just kind of vibe, you know, catch a little bit of a vibe, and just show to myself that my strategy works. Even though I've already done it so many times over, you know, I still want to ingrain in my head that this works, that this, if I let the probabilities play out, is going to work. You're not going to win every time. You're not. It's just not possible. It is not how it works, you know? It just, you can't... What is that? Yo. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work if you don't have the discipline. You got to remain disciplined, guys. You've got to work on building that, and building the mental knowledge in your head that your strategy is going to work out. As I said, anybody can literally go on YouTube and, you know, or onto Reddit, or just Google. Go into Google. Even ChatGPT will give you strategies, right? You can literally find all of that on the internet yourself. But you can't find how to be disciplined. You can't find the knowledge and the experience of being disciplined to yourself. That is something you have to build on your own. You have to just go through the process and build yourself up to that. Build yourself into the person that you want to be. Build your mentality around trusting your strategy. That is how, that's what's going to get you to profits. That's what's going to get you to success. That is what's going to get you where you want to be. Is that bro's bike? Oh my god. That thing sounds just absurd. Oh. God. I want a new bike so bad. That thing sounds so wicked. Oh man, my bike sounds like nothing compared to that thing. Look at it. Look at it. That is beautiful. I don't know if that's a new Gixxer or not. Dude, I love googly eyeing at bikes. Like, I'll do that shit all day long if I can. Oh. God. Man, I need me a new bike. I need me a new bike bad. Sorry, got distracted there with the bike. That thing was nice. God. I want to get a new bike soon. I really want to get a new bike soon. I know in about 2 weeks time from now I'm going to be taking you guys on a trip with me, and I'm going to take this thing right here, this little 200, and I'm going to take it on a road trip. I'm going to go back home to Fayetteville for a few days, Fayetteville, North Carolina, good old Vietnam. And my buddy's potentially getting a bike. He's been talking about it. He wants to get himself like an R3 or something, which, I mean, honestly would be a phenomenal beginner bike for him. And I'm really excited because, you know, I mean, I want to ride with him. He's, you know, my childhood friend, so riding with him would be so sick. And I mean, honestly, it would make some really great content for you guys. He'll probably be starting a channel. He's probably going to get a GoPro and stuff. He's already got like a channel set up, and so I might plug him, you know, for those. Probably will, if he does end up getting a GoPro and the bike. It was all figurative, but we've been talking about it heavily, so it's probably going to end up happening. But anyhow, yeah, I hope you guys found some sort of value out of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that I can see you guys on the next one, you know. But anywho, I'm head on home. Y'all stay breezy. Y'all have a great one. I will see all of you in the next one. Peace, boys.